The First Lady, Catherine of Siena, was born and raised in Siena and at an early age wanted to devote herself to God. She was a member of the Dominican order and was a mystic, activist, and author who greatly influenced the Catholic Church.
Clare of Assisi was born in Assisi during the High Middle Ages. She was the oldest daughter of Fabian. Her father was a wealthy representative of the ancient Roman family. Clare was devoted to prayer and was assumed to be married in the line with family tradition.
Saint Scholastica was born in Nursia, Italy in 480. She lived a very strict life and died February 10th and was the twin of monk Benedict.
Catherine of Siena's influence on theology was that she influenced Pope Gregory's decision to leave Avignon for Rome, which is a lasting significance today. She wrote a spiritual treatise, The Dialogue of Divine Providence, and she sent numerous letters to princes and cardinals to promote obedience to Pope Urban and defended the vessel of the church.
Clare of Assisi. When Clare was 18, Francis of Assisi came to preach in the church of San Giorgino at Assisi. Inspired by his words, Clare asked Francis to help her in dedicating her life to God, and he vowed to do so. She took vows dedicating her life to God, and at that moment, occurring on March 20th, 1212, marked the beginning of the Second Order of St. Francis.
Saint Scholastica influenced theology by being the head of her covenant, which takes a strict life and a faithful mind and devotion to God.
Catherine of Assisi, her influence on the church, there was a devotion around her that developed rapidly after her death. She was canonized in 1461 and was declared a patron saint of Rome in 1866 and a patron saint of Italy in 1939. She was the first woman to be declared a doctor of the church, and in 1970 by Pope Paul, and she was also proclaimed the patron saint of Europe in 1999.
Clare of Assisi. Clare and her sister moved to the Church of San Dominio, recently built by Francis. It wasn't long before other women joined them, and St. Domingo's residents, known for their ascetic lifestyle, became known as the Poor Ladies.
And lastly, Catherine, Saint Scholastica is going to talk.
She influenced the church with the help of her brother by making a monastery and devoted her life to the nuns, and she's the patron saint of the Benedictine nuns and education.
Lastly, Catherine of Siena, her letters and dozens of prayers that she wrote gave her a prominent place in the history of Italian literature, aside from the Catholic Church.
Clare of Assisi. Assisi was under attack again. Clare and her nuns prayed for the safety of their town, and a storm swept in and scattered the attackers. Clare cared for Francis toward the end of his life. Afterward, desperate ill health, Clare continued to promote the growth of her order until her death.
It is said that Saint Scholastica wanted her brother to stay in the church and pray with her, but he said no, and she raised her arms and a storm came, and he had a vision of her ascending into heaven like a dove.
The end.